I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are you drinking tonight, Mitch?
Well, we have 3 things to get through.
Okay.
So here's the first one. Our beer for the night is Abita Grapefruit Honey. It's brewed and bottled by Abita Brewing Company, LLC, in Abita Springs, Louisiana. It's 4.2% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Ripe, juicy Louisiana ruby red grapefruits are paired with the sweetness of locally sourced honey to create a refreshing brew with a citrus aroma and a clean malt taste. Brewed with Pilsner and wheat malts, the bite of grapefruit is balanced by the sweet honey. All of our Harvest Series brews are made with the finest Louisiana-grown ingredients. That Harvest Series is, as far as I can tell, just a series of seasonal beers that they put out. I'm not sure if it was last fall or this spring, but Harvest, you'd think in the fall, right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about just a minute ago?
I think so.
Yeah, probably, but it's fine. It's very light and sweet. It doesn't have too much going on, so there's not much I can say about it. It's okay. Gets a 5 out of 10 from me. Now, we have 2 liquors tonight, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. Our first one is Midnight Moon Blueberry Moonshine, produced and bottled by Piedmont Distilleries in Madison, North Carolina. It's 50% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Few family recipes carry a jail sentence, but to Junior Johnson's family, it was a way of life. With the law on his heels, Junior ran the finest moonshine to the dry, rural South. Midnight Moon follows the Johnson family's small batch recipe. It's proudly made by our very own hands and crafted with all natural, real fruit. When it says that real fruit, that's because there's actual blueberries in the bottle that I didn't know about. See, I transferred them from the bottle they came in, not them,
The jar.
the moonshine, the jar that it came in, to an easier to pour bottle, because if I'm going to take a shot, I need it to fit in a shot glass. And when I did that, a whole bunch of blueberries fell out, and I was like, oh shit, I did not know these were in there. Well,
they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of thick too. It's almost like syrup.
Syrupy looking.
Yeah, but it's surprisingly sweet. It's 50% alcohol by volume. I opened it and smelled it, and I went, oh, that's not going to be good. And I took a sip, and I said, you know what? There's not even any kind of a bite going on. It's really freaking sweet.
It looks like you should pour it over like ice cream or something.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a syrup.
It's better than you, or at least better than I think. It gets a 7 out of 10 just on ice by itself. It's actually really good and really sweet. Like I said, no bite at all. The problem comes in when I put it with some lemonade, because I got some lemonade because I figured a blueberry lemonade would be real good. It's dangerous because you cannot detect this at all. You can give someone this and tell them it's a blueberry lemonade, and they will be fucked up in a heartbeat because you cannot tell that there's alcohol in this.
I'm not trying.
I'm sorry. Leah won't be able to, and I'll tell you in just a second why. But that cocktail with lemonade gets a 7 out of 10. Not sure if I said that. A 7 out of 10 overall. I actually like this a lot more than I thought I would. Still not my favorite thing, but it's just fine. Now, here's where the problem comes in. Leah's allergic to blueberries.
Very allergic to blueberries.
So she can't have this. I just get to tell her about it. It's, it's not great, so you're not missing too much, but you'd get fucked up off of this real quick, real easy.
It's sweet, and you can mix it in lemonade. Of course I would. That
Yeah,
sounds like my game entirely.
I'm telling you, you can't even detect that there's 50% alcohol in this.
Would you be
Not even close.
opposed to just letting me have some Benadryl and then having a little?
Yes, because we're going to go to the hospital, and I don't want to go to the hospital tonight. I would rather just drink and go to bed.
I'll just get full body hives. It's not like full on anaphylaxis.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's fine
just
then.
A little bit.
I'm fine with that
then.
then.
Real bad.
Yeah, well, I'm fine. Let's do that then.
All right.
That's good. But here's what Leah's drinking. We got another Midnight Moon. We got Midnight Moon Apple Pie Moonshine. Also produced and bottled by Piedmont Distilleries in Madison, North Carolina. This one is 35% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Moonshine infused with real spice. Crafted with 100% all natural ingredients for those with nothing to prove. Midnight Moon is the defiant spirit for the rebel in us all. Now, this moonshine, I have a feeling that all their bottles come with things in them because this one had a cinnamon stalk in it.
Stick.
Cinnamon stick. Stalk. I'm going to go with stalk. It had cinnamon in it. But I'm not drinking it. Leah is. So I'm going to throw it over to her and let her talk about this moonshine. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's apple pie moonshine. I've found that I really like apple pie moonshine. It's one of my favorite things to drink with just a little bit of that and ice. But I found that it can sort of trend one of two ways. You're either going to get a caramelly apple pie or you're going to get a cinnamony apple pie. I prefer caramel, but this one is hardcore cinnamon. The first thing that you're going to taste is cinnamon.
They went to the extreme with the cinnamon.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm fine with it. It's drinkable. It's a real solid apple pie moonshine, but it's not what I prefer. I'm more of a Sugarlands is my favorite brand of apple pie moonshine because it is straight up just a real caramelly apple pie. And
It's
like
really good.
when it comes to like actual apple pie, I'm way more into like caramelly apple pies and cinnamon apple pies. I mean, it's got to have a little cinnamon, but like I'm much more into that like caramel flavor. So like I said, that being said, it's a good solid 6 out of 10. It's very drinkable. I like it. But it's not something I'd write home about.
Well, all right. I guess that's your score. That's everything we got. 6 out of 10. Right? That's what we're going to go with. Well, that's all of our alcohols. Leah, let's get into some fun place names.
Okay, let me pull that up for you. Today,
Thank you.
we're going to the great state of Texas.
Okay.
You're not going to say anything about it?
No,
All right.
no. I mean, there's... Okay, Texas. I mean...
You're not going to... Deep in the heart of Texas.
No? I wasn't planning on it.
I was waiting for something fun, but I guess not. Yeah, we're going to Ding Dong, Texas.
Oh, come on now. This isn't real.
No, it is.
You made this up.
No. Ding Dong, Texas is a real place.
One word or two?
Two. Ding Dong, Texas. It is in Bell County, Texas, which I think is a little funny.
Ding Dong Bell? Okay.
It's Ding Dong in Bell County.
That took me longer than it should.
Yeah, okay. So in the 1930s, there were some businessmen named Zulis and Bert Bell, and they ran a country store.
Zulis?
Zulis,
Okay.
Zulis. And they ran a country store, and they hired a local artist to paint a sign for him. So he painted a sign that had 2 big bells, and it had their names on the bells, and then coming out of just sort of a caricature kind of thing, coming out of the bell, it had the words ding dong, out of it.
Yeah.
And
It's the sound bells make.
it is. And
Nicolas
so,
Cage came back.
You need to calm down, Nick. But, it had the words ding dong coming out of the bottom of the bells. Well, a town grew up around their general store, and the name just sort of stuck. Everybody started calling it ding dong, and
That will happen.
yeah. And actually, they say,
Excuse me.
I told you before that Ding Dong was in Bell County. Well, the county was named for someone else entirely, not related at all. It was named for
Okay.
Governor Peter Bell. So the fact that it's in Bell County is not apropos to the fact that it is called Ding Dong. But it's
not
just
relevant.
a little funny. No,
Are we sure that...
That's
I
what
mean,
it says.
I know that the county was probably named first, but I still think the town was called Ding Dong for a reason. With
Actually,
it being in Bell County.
I don't think so. I think actually the county, if I'm right, I think I am. I think the county was named after the town. But anyway, Ding Dong, Texas.
Woo!
So if you live in Ding Dong, Texas, y'all, I'm serious this time. Send me a daggum postcard. I need to hear from Ding Dong, Texas. So if you're in the Texas area, because it's a
Travel
real
to Ding
small,
Dong.
it's a real small community in Texas there. So I've been told.
In Ding Dong?
No, just,
just the
the
state?
state. It's
Yeah.
it's a really quaint small state. So you should be able to get there real fast.
Yeah, you can get to Ding Dong in a hurry. I can show you how.
Yeah, Ding Dong, Texas.
Gross, I
So-
shouldn't have said that.
Oh, yeah. Send me a postcard. We actually have a P.O. box now. What? We're coming up in the world. So send me that.
I think that we should we save the P.O. box and like say, if you want to send us something, send us a message first, and then we'll give you the P.O. box? Or do we just want to put it out there?
No, I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay.
Send me weird shit. Not like super weird shit. Like
don't...
medium strange shit. Like,
don't commit mail fraud.
Nothing dangerous. Nothing like super weird. But like postcards with ding dong on them, I'm game.
That does not mean buy a postcard and write ding dong on it and send it.
You know, I like postcards is all I'm saying.
Okay, we'll give them the P.O. box.
All right, our P.O. box is, hold on, I gotta find the printout from the post office. There we go. All right, our P.O. box is P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama 35640. So Hartselle spelled Hartselle, Alabama 35640.
There you go.
Huzzah.
Send us some shit.
Not literal shit.
No,
once
please
again.
Don't. I mean, it'll probably fit in the P.O. box, but don't.
I'm going to be serious here. Don't send us literal shit. But, you know.
Please.
Other stuff.
Please.
I'm game.
Woo. All right, well, let's talk again about the iTunes stuff that we need. We need some ratings and some reviews.
Yeah, that would be great.
Please.
We've got like 5 or 6 so far, which is awesome. Like,
it's great.
Thanks to everybody who did that. That's fan-freaking-tastic. But we really want to like get in front of a few more eyes. That would be awesome. We're growing at an ears. You're right.
We want to get into some more ears, please.
Gosh. But yeah, we would love it. Would just be so thankful if you rated our show 4 stars preferably. But I mean, if you
5. It goes
5?
to 5. Oh. You know what? We're not greedy. Just give us 4 stars.
At least 4, preferably 5. You know, if you 5, please.
Rate what you feel.
Rate
if you feel 4, give us 4.
Rate your convictions. And if you'll just, drop us a line about, if you liked us, tell us why you liked us. If you don't like us,
don't tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to hear it.
So
Keep
that'd
that
be
to
awesome.
yourself, please.
So if you can do that, that would be super freaking cool of you.
And follow all of our social medias. We're starting to ramp that up a little bit more.
Or just one, pick your favorite, but preferably all of them.
Yeah, please. We've got Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. Just search for Southern Spirits Podcast. We have a community page on Facebook and Pinterest boards, and our Twitter feed is S Spirits Podcast. So follow us all there. Excuse me. We're going to start putting up some some videos of us taking the shots during the episodes. Jesus, I can't stop. I'm sorry. But this is what you get to view if you join those pages. If you start following them, you get to see us struggle
the scenes
with gas.
That's really gross.
I didn't say it.
Maybe you should edit that out.
No, it's fine.
All right. Well, you know what's really exciting about this particular first story?
What?
It was actually suggested by a listener via one of the social medias.
Hey, first listener suggestion.
So this listener suggestion is from Amanda Wood.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. You're awesome.
Hey.
And I actually graduated with Amanda, so she's not...
Oh, nepotism.
Yeah. She's actually my friend from way back, so okay. Technically a listener, and she did, suggest this story. So it was one that I had no freaking clue about, but it took place like 10 minutes down the road from us, literally. Today we're going to be going to Falkville, Alabama.
Hey.
And we're talking about the Falkville Metal Man.
Well, that's weird. I just
Yeah.
want to. What
Yeah,
are we getting into?
You think it's weird now, but just give it a minute, because it's going to get a little bit weirder.
Okay.
Okay, but we're going to immediately go into Shot in the Dark here.
Uh-oh.
So, I want you to tell me when this story took place. Was it in 1963? Was it in 1973? Or was it in 1983?
I would have thought it was older. But I'm just going to say 63.
You're wrong. Take a shot. Shot.
I haven't tried shooting this blueberry stuff yet, so.
It was in 1973, by the way.
Get your
Hold
phone.
on, let me get my phone up.
73.
73.
Well, I just want to know what kind of metal and,
We're going to get to that, I
you know.
promise.
Oh, I know it's coming.
All right, hold on. Let me zoom in.
Let me take my cans off. There we go.
What?
My cans, my earphones. My Beats
All right,
that I'm
ready?
using. I'm ready.
Hold on,
You
let me-
recording?
No. There we go.
Okay, here we go. Here comes the blueberry. That's pleasant. It's not. Oh, nope, there it comes. You should have kept the camera
Damn.
going.
Too late.
Oh, no, it's not pleasant.
You just have like the most serene look on your face when you take a shot, and I'm over here arm flapping.
Well, some of them are bad, and this one took a minute, but it showed up. Ooh. That's not bad, though. That's something you could sit and drink all freaking, well, not all day. Because it's going to catch
I
up
was
to
going to say,
you.
that is 50% alcohol by volume. I don't know that all day would be a good idea.
It in no way tastes like that. It almost
No.
tastes like wine. Like a
Like a
really
Moscato or
sweet wine.
something?
Yeah, like a Moscato or like a...
Maybe like that muscadine stuff that we had.
Yeah, it's there. It's getting there. It's I would put it close to like a Riesling, but with a whole bunch of fruit
Yeah.
involved. It's,
Fun.
Woo. That's
Alright.
rough though on the
So-
back end.
Back to the Falkville Metal Man.
Back to him.
Woo! All right, so like I said, it happened in 1973. Now, do you remember a story that we talked about previously that happened in 1973?
No. I don't.
All right, well, do you remember the Pascagoula abduction?
I do. That was in 73?
Yeah, well, it actually happened exactly 6 days later. This story happened 6 days later
That's creepy.
than the Pascagoula abduction. So,
Okay.
just bear that in mind as we go forward, because it could play a little bit of something later on.
What?
I don't know. I've been drinking. Shut up.
Little something, y'all.
All right. So on October the 17th of 1973, the 26-year-old police chief of Falkville, Alabama.
Of course.
Okay, sidebar. 26 years old. Why is he your police chief?
Well, he was the chief. He wasn't like a sheriff
He
or something.
was the police chief of Falkville, Alabama at 26 years old.
I don't know too much about Falkville because I haven't lived up around here
It's
for
little.
too long.
You
But it's-
could run
that's
through
what I
the
was
two
about to
lots
say.
and miss it.
That's what I was about to say. It's probably real small.
It is.
He's probably close to the oldest person living there.
That is not true
hold
at
on,
all.
At least that is virile and is in okay shape to take care of other people.
Disagree.
Well,
All
okay.
right.
I'm just saying. This was in the 70s. You weren't
Yes.
there for it.
No, but I actually do know a couple of people that figure in this
Oh,
distantly. So
are they the police chief?
no, I do not know this guy, and I don't
Okay.
know if he's still around now or not. I couldn't find any record of him, but
He's not the police chief anymore, though.
no, he's not. As you will soon discover.
Hey,
Anyway, his name was Jeff Greenhaw.
Greenhaw?
And now I did know some Greenhaws, but I looked and they're not related. So
really?
anyway,
That's not a last name that you would hear multiples of, I wouldn't think.
no, there's actually a lot of Greenhaws around here.
Wow.
I had a
Weird.
band director in high school that had that last name. But
Excuse
anyway, on October the 17th of 1973, Mr. Greenhaw received an emergency call on his home phone line. He had already gone home for the night. Just settled down with his wife, ready to watch TV. Is that a thing? They had
26
TV,
years
right?
old, police chief, and married.
Yeah.
This man is,
A fine,
Ooh.
upstanding gentleman.
if you say so.
Yes. Anyway, so just after about 10 o'clock that night, he gets this emergency phone call on his home line. It was from this lady who I have never seen her named in a report, so I don't know who she was. No one ever said. But she called and she was absolutely hysterical. She claimed that a UFO had landed in a field near her home just outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that was distressing for her. Which,
Sounds like it.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, who all has the police chief's home phone number in Falkville?
I mean, if you know Falkville, probably everybody.
I know it was
at
the
that point in time.
70s and everything, but I know that now, doctors and, as far as I know, high-ranking officials don't have their names in the phone book, which nobody uses a phone book anymore, but, they don't put their home numbers anywhere that people could find them.
I mean, it is a very small, very rural town, and I'm sure this lady knew his mama.
Yeah, so it wasn't published. It
Probably
could have not
not.
been published, and she just knew.
Probably not, but it is a very small, close-knit town, especially back then. So my guess is everybody knew everybody, and you could figure it out shortly.
Everybody, Tin Man. I don't have anything.
Do you know okay, sidebar again. When I was a kid, I liked to sing along with the country music that my parents played in the car. Well, I
did
didn't.
too.
I could never get the words right to any of that. And I sang that song until I was about 15 and everybody calls you Fred. Because I knew so many Freds. So many of the men at my church were named Fred. So
You
I
did have
just
a lot of
thought, and
Freds.
everybody calls you Fred.
That makes sense, though.
And then someone looked at me like, what are you singing? And I was like, everybody calls you Fred. And they're like, no, everybody calls you friend. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oops.
I did the same thing as a child. My dad played drums in a band for many years, like a really famous band around the Montgomery, really around the Southeast for a while. And they had like a reunion concert a few years ago that I attended. And of course, like midway through the set, my dad goes, "When we used to play this song, my son Mitch called it," and I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but I was like 3 years old when the time that he was telling the story, and this is just a really bad story because I don't even fucking remember. But he did it in front of a bar full of people, and I was 25,
It's okay.
sitting
They
there
were all
going,
drunk.
"What the fuck?"
It's fine.
Well, so was I. So it's fine.
Oh, bless your heart. Anyway, so this UFO landed out in a field near her house, just out of town, and the field was actually owned by Mr. Bobby Summerford, who, do you know where Summerford's nursing home is?
No.
Well, it's just down there. But anyway, he
Okay.
owned that. He owned a lot of businesses. It was a very prominent family,
All
and
right.
still is. But he died in 2007.
Well, thanks for that.
Sorry. Hate to be a bummer. But yeah, sure. Anyway.
All right.
But so Mr. Greenhall was off duty, but he decided that he needed to go out and see what he could do to settle that lady down. So he grabbed all of his gear, he put it in the truck, jumped in the truck, and radioed the police station about the report. And then he drove out to the location that she said that this UFO had landed in. Now, we're in an area that is, like I said, very close to where this happened. Mm-hmm. And it is dark as shit outside when the sun goes down.
It's dark as shit outside right now.
That's
outside
what
of
I'm
our
saying.
house.
Like, it's dark as shit
There aren't
out
street
there.
lights around here.
There's not a lot of. There's no street lights. There's no.
No
the light
buildings.
pollution is like nothing.
We can see the stars.
And I mean, Hartselle is a metropolis compared to Falkville.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we live
compared
in a
to
little
Falkville.
ass town, but like that is a double little ass town. And
Double
so
little ass.
there, it's dark out there. When I mean, you got stars and moon if you're lucky. Like, that's it. So just bear in mind that there's very little illumination out there. Excuse me. Anyway, so when he reached the field, Officer Greenhall got out of his truck.
Chief Greenhall.
Chief, excuse me, he was the chief.
Mm-hmm.
He got out of his truck and he took a look around, and he didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary. Now, if there was a UFO in a field, you would think, oh shit, there's a UFO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find one.
That's what I'd think.
But he couldn't find a UFO anywhere.
Yeah, because it was dark as shit.
Well, I mean, but you'd think that a UFO is going to have glowing lights and little...
Not if they've killed the engine. They landed.
All right. Okay, fine. Anyway, so he couldn't find anything, didn't see anything suspicious, so he got back in his truck, and he decided to take one more drive around the perimeter of Mr. Summerford's field just to make sure. So he was sort of driving slow around, looking on each side, making sure that there wasn't anything crazy going on. And he didn't see anything strange until he made a turn down a gravel road.
Uh-oh.
There, he came face to face with the Falkville Metal Man.
No, he didn't.
Bum, bum, bum. Sorry. I got excited.
We have got to start using fucking sound effects.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, no, because it's more work for me. But, I mean, if we could do them, like, live, just with the soundboard and, like, what we need, most of all, is just a kazoo. I can sit over here and, like, ooh,
Daddy's got a kazoo you can borrow. And
A
that's not
kazoo?
a kazoo. You're thinking of a slide whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
not the same thing.
yeah, I don't know why the fuck I said kazoo.
Not the same
stupid.
thing. Anyway, so
Blueberry.
Chief Greenhall said that he had been driving down this gravel road about 100 yards before he saw an entity that he described as a humanoid figure. Quotes. And it was standing by the side of the road. It was about 75 feet away from his truck when he realized it. So he stopped the car and he got out of the truck thinking that it could have been someone that needed help. He didn't know what was going on. So he hollered over to the figure, but he didn't get any response, didn't say anything. So he got closer to the figure, and he then realized that it was shiny. And he looked a little closer and realized that it was wearing something that he thought looked a lot like a suit made out of real thick aluminum foil. It was sort of crinkly and metal.
Well, okay, I do have a question real quick. I don't know that you're going to have the answer to this.
Go ahead.
When you say 75 feet and it's dark as fuck outside, was this in front? Did he have the lights on it?
Yes.
Okay.
He had the truck with the
truck was pointed at
the
it.
headlights were pointed at the thing, and he was out in front.
Because I'm like, y'all, I know you might not believe this if you don't live in a small town type area. But seriously, when the sun goes down, you cannot see 75 feet in front of you if it's dark outside. You literally
Around
can't.
here, you legitimately can't. The light pollution is so low out here that it's just dark. It's just fucking dark. You gotta have a flashlight.
Or headlights.
Or headlights, which work.
Check.
So anyway, this is the quote from Mr. Greenhall. And this is what he said.
Here we go. Wait, are you going to do a voice?
No.
Ah, man. Okay.
Do you want me to do a voice?
Do Rob Phillips.
Robaba.
No, don't. Just
okay.
read it. I'm sorry. I was hoping.
It looked like his head and neck were kind of made together. He was real bright, something like mercury, sorry, let me try that again.
Okay, take it from the beginning.
Okay.
Go.
It looked like his head and neck were kind of made together. He was real bright, something like rubbing mercury on nickel, but just as smooth as glass. Different angles give different lighting, and when I saw him standing in the middle of the road, I immediately stopped the car and asked if he was a foreigner. But no sound came out of his mouth. That was a quote from Mr. Chief Jeff Greenhall.
All right. Okay. So that's the whole quote, right? Because I didn't want to interrupt.
End quotes.
All right. I do not understand Jeff's metaphors. Like the nickel and the mercury and the whatever came right after that. I was immediately lost. The foreigner thing brought me right back, though. I was paying attention after that.
Okay, so mercury is a liquid metal. It's, yeah. If you rub it on anything, have you ever seen mercury glass? That real shiny. Okay, well, it's real shiny. That's all you need to know. It's silver and shiny. Period.
Yeah, I was just saying that the whole metaphor of the mercury, nickel, and then the glass that came right after it was just right over my head. Because it was melting together like mercury and nickel, and I didn't. Right then, you lost me.
It's a country thing. You wouldn't get it. Don't worry about it. Just move on.
Country people are dealing in liquid metal.
Well, I mean, in the time period, there was all sorts of weird shit that went on. Not that kind of weird shit.
But like science experiments in Faulkville. Is that what we're saying?
No, like. Okay, thermometers used to have legit mercury in them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mercury was used before they realized how toxic it was. It was used for a lot of different things. That's just
okay.
it.
Okay, I follow.
You good?
I mean, kinda. I still don't get the metaphor.
He just meant it was really fucking shiny.
Yeah, and that it was, like you were saying, the head and neck were like one piece.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was melding together. I understood what he was trying to say. His metaphor made no sense to me, was what I was saying.
Well, you don't have any cultural background in that area.
You're right.
That's fine.
I'm culturally inept.
Yes.
I'm sorry, everybody.
So, anyway, he was shiny.
Excuse me.
And he pulled a real racist. Are you a foreigner? Oh, bless its heart.
Oh, I was hoping we would revisit that.
Awful. But
Bless
anyway.
whose heart? The metal man's heart?
Yes.
Well,
that poor metal man.
I have yet to understand if the metal man is the good guy or the bad guy in this story.
Well, you'll just have to keep listening.
So maybe he's a dirty foreigner.
You cannot say that.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping everybody understands that I was joking, that I was being sarcastic.
We're completely cool with everybody, period.
Yeah. Thanks for covering our bases.
No, I mean, we are.
Yeah.
I like all people. I don't care.
I don't care if you're a metal man. Well, hold on. I've yet to know if I... You're right.
We'll talk about metal man afterwards. But, for the most part, I don't have any problems with most humans.
Just a few.
Yeah. And they're real specific, and it's not for anything other than the fact that they're just assholes.
It's not for being a metal man.
No, it's not. Anyway, so he also described the motions of the entity as being really mechanical and robotic, and it sounds and actually kind of looks a lot like the Pascagoula abduction.
The aliens?
Yes, it looks like sort of what those people were describing.
Yeah.
With the weird no-neck thing, with the sort of glidey motions.
The slit / open mouth.
Yeah, with the knees that didn't bend, that kind of thing.
Then they're not knees.
Fine.
They're just
We've been over this already.
Probably.
But anyway. So yeah, it was very reminiscent of what happened in Pascagoula. So... Greenhall soon realized that he was dealing with something fucking weird. Just shiny metal foreigner over there that won't talk. So he began to panic. But he had police training and he kept his cool, and he remembered that he had a Polaroid camera in his vehicle. So he was like, alright, this is weird. I'm going to take a picture of it. So he grabbed it.
The thing was just standing there? It didn't
just
move.
standing there.
Okay.
So he grabbed it, and he took 4 quick shots of the creature with his Polaroid. So the first Polaroid came back completely black. Nothing but darkness. But the next 3 show a shiny, wrinkly humanoid figure. And yes, you can look up these pictures online right now. Type in Faulkville Metal Man, and you will see all 3 of those Polaroid pictures.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Hold on.
They're a little funny, I'm not going to lie.
I'm sorry if y'all can hear me typing, but this is one that I've got to
Type
be a
in
part of.
Falkville Metal Man, Falkville.
Google auto-corrected it really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is just such horseshit. I can't believe you had me do this.
Seriously, y'all,
Y'all.
you've got to look this up.
Look, I want to put the pictures up for sure on one of our social medias. But looking at this, this is 100% a hoax. Like, this is the chief being a 26-year-old child going, you know what we should do? We should make a metal suit and take pictures. That's what he was doing.
Well, don't jump to conclusions because we've still got more story. All right.
Okay.
So,
This is so funny, though. Oh, this is so funny.
okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So after the flash went off a couple of times, the entity freaked the fuck out and it dashed across the field at lightning speed. It was far faster than any human was capable of. So Greenhaw said he was running in the general direction of Lakon. So he hopped in his truck and he followed him across this man's field.
Lakon is another small city
town, yeah.
in close to this area.
Yeah.
So he just drove across the field,
He drove across the field. Now, he
chasing
said...
his friend in a tinfoil suit.
Chasing the entity in the tinfoil suit.
All right, then.
So the field was really rough, and he couldn't get the truck up to more than about 35 miles an hour. But even at that speed,
This metal man was booking
the
it.
metal man outran him, and he bounded over barriers.
I
And
can't believe this is a story we're doing. Like, I saw the picture, and
It's my favorite.
when you do something like this and you want to get away with it, do not go, I have pictures. Here are the pictures.
Oh, but there were pictures. You should look those pictures
I'm
up.
still looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, I normally keep my computer on the audio software that we're using to make sure we're recording, but I can't stop looking at this picture. I just have it.
All right,
right
well,
here.
I've got another quote.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
All right. He ran in a bizarre way. Seemed to have springs in the feet for propulsion. Could cover about 3 meters in every way. He was running faster than any human I ever saw. End quote. So, unfortunately, fields being what they are, Greenhaw lost control of his truck and wound up in a ditch.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Never gonna catch that metal man now.
So, if you'll remember the Pascagoula story, those abductees were made famous across the country from their UFO story. They made a lot of money. They were interviewed. There were book deals.
Yeah.
They were famous. The same cannot be said for Jeff.
I now see why the old lady wasn't in any of the reports.
Yeah, he was openly mocked and ridiculed in that town. Within...
Well, I mean, if you just have the story and don't take the pictures, you might be all right.
Yeah. But within months of this encounter, the town council terminated him as the police chief.
Oh.
His wife left him. And his house burned down.
I bet the metal man did it. The metal man came by and just, like, reflected sunlight off of his skin.
Did he have a mason jar with him to start that fire?
No, Leah, that's not funny. Because that's not how fires start. We know that.
Yeah. It's all those poltergeists. Anyway.
It's the metal suits.
So, here is where we've got to decide what happened.
I mean, I don't have to decide anything.
Some people think it's real. The theory is that it could have been a robotic scout for a UFO landing craft.
Uh-huh.
Or an entity in a life support suit that just happened to look like real thick tinfoil. Or, other people think it was a hoax perpetrated by Greenhaw, an accomplice in a tinfoil costume.
I mean, that Pascagoula thing blew up immediately, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, he heard it. It was 6 days after, and he went, that happened here.
Well, I'm getting there.
I'm okay.
So
I'm sorry.
the
I thought we were
images-
deciding.
No, the images that Greenhaw took were collected and sent for analysis by a dude named Walt Andrus, and he was a director at MUFON. Have you heard of MUFON?
No.
MUFON is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world.
Wait, let me guess what it is.
Okay.
Let me guess the acronym.
Go ahead.
I'm guessing it's MUFON. All right. More unrealistic fuckery ongoing now.
Close, but no.
No, you're not. I wasn't
No,
close.
no, you weren't.
Okay, fuck you. Don't get my hopes up.
It's the Mutual UFO Network.
Oh, well, that's
MUFON.
not MUFON.
It is MUFON.
Right.
And they do a lot of research into unidentified flying objects and what results from that. And they're actually a lot more skeptical than you would think they are. They're
Yeah, I don't think they're skeptical at all.
No, I mean, they're a lot, like I said, their conclusion that they drew by their analyst was that the encounter was most likely a fabrication. It was probably inspired by all of the craziness surrounding the recent Pascagoula case.
Yeah.
So they think that it was a hoax.
Yeah, I will have to agree with you, MUFON.
But there are a lot of people that also believe that there's no reason this guy would have made it up, that it really fucked up his life afterwards, and that he never changed his story. To this day, he still, which I can't find him anywhere. I looked.
I say to those people who say he wouldn't have made it up because look what it did. Well, you don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Fucking morons.
But he never said, oh, it was a hoax, it was whatever. But then I've been looking online and reading stuff about it because I didn't know about this story before until Amanda told me about it. And
Come on, Amanda.
I lost my shit. Made me laugh so hard. That was the best thing I've ever seen. Thank you, Amanda Wood. It was great. Great suggestion.
Yeah. Thank you for the comedic
It was awesome. But
fuckery. I'm going to say fuckery all night now. It's in my head.
You just enjoy that word?
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. was I
MUFON
going?
and the hoax and the people thinking it's not.
Oh, yeah. I was reading online all of these little things, and anywhere this story is posted, there is someone in the comments going, I'm from Falkville, and my cousin was the guy in the suit. You know what I mean? Like, it was... And
it's always somebody
And it's
else.
always someone different. Like,
Yeah.
It's my cousin Tom in that suit. Oh, Uncle Fred just said he was out in that. And so every little family around Falkville apparently has a story about how their ancestor was this dude in the metal suit. So is it a hoax?
What
Probably.
we need to do, we need to go ask your grandparents about this and see
That's
if they
what
know
I
about
thought too. I
it. Or your dad. Have you talked to your dad about it?
I don't think Daddy knows about it.
Yeah.
I could ask. I mean, he was around in the 70s, so I mean, sure.
Well,
but they
let's
lived in
hope.
Coleman at the time. It would be Papa.
Yeah, but
if
it's
anybody
close.
knew, if
It's
anybody
close.
knew, it would be my grandfather. But they're Southern Baptist, and they like to think that I don't drink. So
Well, yeah. I mean, we can just ask them about the. They don't need to know about the podcast.
don't tell anybody about my
Y'all,
podcast.
send the mail to the P.O. box, not Leah's grandparents, so that they don't know about the podcast. It's not a mutual P.O. box, I don't think.
No. They'll find out eventually, but you know, I hope to be a rip-roaring success at that point.
For now, let's keep their minds at ease. Rest? I almost said at rest. That's not right.
No.
Ease.
All right. Anyway, so that was the Falkville Metal Man.
That was a fun one, Amanda.
Great job.
Send us another metal man with
So-
funny pictures.
Yeah, so if you want to tell us your story or suggest a story, drop us a line at
We
southernspiritpodcast@gmail.com.
Open to suggestions.
I will clearly read anything.
We would love to do like some quick fan ones as well as the 2 stories per episode too.
Yeah.
So if y'all have anything that's especially really quick, for
Or
real, send it
if
to the
your
email.
cousin was the guy in that metal man
Yeah,
suit,
let us know
baby,
quickly.
let me know. I want to know. All right, so
We need more on the Falkville. I almost said Iron Man.
Metal Man.
That's not good. He's a metal man.
yeah, all
More of a
right.
foil man.
Aluminum.
Just look at the pictures.
Aluminum
Trust me.
Man. Oh my God, look at the pictures. They're great.
I'm so glad this one had pictures. This is the first one that I could look at and go, oh, yeah.
And not just like a really shitty like artist rendering, but like Polaroid.
This is a Polaroid that this fucker thought that people were going to believe. He lived in a small town and thought, these idiots, I'm a 26-year-old chief, and everybody went, look, you're a 26-year-old moron.
But you know what really hurts my heart?
What?
My personal theory of this story is that it wasn't him that was hoaxing it. It was these other motherfuckers that were trying to get him out of being the police chief. So this crazy lady calls him up and says, there's a UFO in that field. And he's like, okay, I just want to do my best to serve the people of my community. So he goes out there and he sees this crazy bullshit. And he's scared because he's from Falkville and has probably not ever experienced anything, you know, strange like that. And so he sees this bullshit, takes these pictures in good faith, thinking that something weird's going on. And then they just find like the track star from the local high school. And I mean,
I was about to say, I'm going to rip your theory down because he was going 35 through a field.
He said
with
he was going 35, but when you're in like that freaking weirdo
and it's dark,
and yeah, my guess is this is someone that was perpetrating the hoax on him, not with him.
That's believable to a point. The running through the field is where I think it falls apart, though.
But I mean, things get exaggerated over.
Sure, they do. Yeah, but you're still not going to outrun that truck in a field because you have to run over that rough terrain just like the truck has to drive over that rough terrain. And the springs in the feet thing, I think, causes more of an issue.
I don't know. To me, it just feels like he was really sincere about it and was really trying to, like, serve his community, and people were just fucking with him.
I do not believe that. I do not feel the same.
Well.
But that's okay. We can have differences of opinion. We can believe different things about this guy.
All right, well. Okay, are you ready for the second story?
Not if it's going to be that slow.
Oh, sorry. I'm feeling it. Okay.
Yeah, blueberry's starting to get me. It's pretty
Hold on,
strong.
I need to refill my glass.
I wasn't ready for it.
1 second.
You may refill.
Ew.
uh,
Pour. Ha. Okay.
Leah does that every time she pours a drink.
I do. It's pretty great. Anyway, so we are going to the great state of South Carolina. Charleston, to be specific.
This is the South Carolina Metal Man.
No, it's not. No metal man, I promise. Have you ever been to Charleston?
I don't believe so. I might have as a child.
Beautiful. We should go together sometime.
All
I'd
right.
love it.
Let's go.
All right. So this is the legend of Lavinia Fisher.
Lavinia?
Lavinia.
Spell that for me, please.
Lavinia Fisher.
Spelled correctly? No C in there?
No C.
Okay.
All right. So there's a little caveat to this one. I am first going to tell you the legend.
Okay.
The ghost story, the creepy pasta, basically.
All right.
Now this will then be followed by what actually happened.
How do you know?
Because there are historians that have done the research.
Mm-mm.
But at first I'm going to tell you the legend because the legend is way more badass than what happened. Okay?
Fair.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lavinia Fisher is said to be the first known female serial killer in the United States.
I don't know that that's true already.
Well, that's what they say. And Lavinia was born in 1793.
It's a long fucking time ago.
Yeah. But there's not a whole lot else known about her background. They don't know her maiden name. They don't know where she was born, what day. Just... Sorry.
Nice.
1793. Yeah. So we do know, though, that she grew up to marry a man named John Fisher, and they operated an inn together called the 6 Mile Wayfarer House. And it was conveniently located about 6 miles outside of Charleston, South Carolina. Hence the
That
name.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Good for y'all.
Good name. All right. So
Yeah.
Lavinia and John were not the most upstanding of people, and they were definitely in cahoots with a gang of highwaymen who robbed wealthy travelers and businessmen going into and out of the rich port city of Charleston.
Nice.
So, according to the legend, Lavinia was quite the hostess.
Calm down.
She particularly enjoyed inviting travelers, especially wealthy male travelers, into her parlor for a drug-laced beverage and conversation. They didn't know it was drug-laced, by the way. So, according to the legend, what drugged-up beverage did those men enjoy? Shot in the dark?
Oh. Okay. You go ahead.
Should have said, hold on.
Didn't know we were
try that
getting
again. Shot in the dark.
Oh, thank you.
According to legend, what drugged up beverage did those men enjoy?
Okay.
Was it whiskey, coffee, or tea?
I was hoping it would have been like a mint julep.
No. Whiskey, coffee, tea. Although, doesn't you put whiskey in a mint julep?
I don't know. I've never had a mint julep. I'm going to say tea. Woo! Woo!
I'm not happy with you, sir.
I'm really good at this. All right. Let me
Open up
record
my
you.
cola.
Popping your chaser there?
Yeah, I was going to chase it with pickle juice, but I don't think apple pie and pickle juice go well together.
No, that probably won't be good. Apple juice would have been perfect for the apple pie. But, you know. Did you load up your shot?
Sure did.
Okay, you ready?
No.
Were you about to sneeze?
The cinnamon's going to be awful.
Yep. Just don't breathe through your nose. Don't breathe out through your nose once you take it. All right, you tell me when to start recording for the video.
Whenever you're ready, I'm pumping myself up.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not going to record that. So, here we go. Recording.
I don't want to do this.
Does it
Hold on.
smell bad? Just take the shot.
Holy shit, it does smell bad.
Don't smell it.
You told me to.
No, I asked if it smelled
Ready?
bad.
One,
Go. Stop laughing.
I want to do this.
We don't have this much time.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Good chase. See? You're getting it.
It's actually better shooting it than it is sipping it.
Well, that sounds pretty good. Ooh, Jesus.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, and then you burped, and now you're going to throw up, aren't you?
Oh, honey, I don't know about that. Oh, and now my mouth is watering.
Mm-hmm. See, it's just like the blueberry one. It's fine at first.
It tastes good going,
Then it kind of picks up, you know?
Oh, bless my heart. Didn't like that. All right. Okay, well. And then that cinnamon is real bitter on the back end. That's rough. Okay, well. Live and learn.
And then get loves.
I don't think that's appropriate, but whatever. All right,
said
so
it.
the legend said that she gave the men tea heavily laced with drugs that knocked them out. So she would then help them to bed, but
Yes, you would.
little did they know that the bed was rigged to a trapdoor that led to the basement, where John was waiting to strip the men of their possessions and leave them for dead. Or chop them up with an axe, whatever they felt like.
That's fucking creepy.
How dead is, highly debatable, but we'll get to that later. So my favorite...
How dead?
How dead?
I think it's just dead.
My personal favorite version of this story goes like this. She would lightly drug the men's tea. She would lure... Lightly.
Okay.
So they were groggy, but they weren't all the way passed out. She would lightly drug the men's tea. She would lure them into bed with her.
Hey.
And then she would crush their skulls between her thighs.
Fucking shit.
Until they lost consciousness and then they died.
Calm down, Lavinia.
She crushed their heads with her thighs.
Wasn't that a Bond villain who had super strong thighs and would suffocate men around their waist?
Know, but
I think that was Goldeneye. Not sure, though.
I have been waiting to say that sentence since we started this, because I knew I wanted to do Lavinia, because fuck it. Crushing someone's head between your thighs?
Well,
like,
obviously
what?
it's not true.
What the
But
fuck?
it's fun to talk about.
It's great. One of the most interesting method of killing that I've ever heard. Let's just put it that way.
If it were true.
Don't rain on my drunk parade right now. Anyway, so then they lost consciousness and died, and they were then robbed and disposed of in the basement trapdoor method, like always.
Yeah. Okay.
So, none of these rumors or allegations were ever substantiated, and in all likelihood, she never really killed anybody, but just robbed them and beat the hell out of them.
And the husband killed him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll get to that. Anyway.
Uh-oh.
What they actually got in trouble for was that highway robbery thing. So, the Fishers were thought to be operating like a gang of highwaymen, basically. They used their inn as headquarters, but the law enforcement of the time didn't have any kind of solid evidence or proof, save for the rumors and the tales of men going missing after they stopped by the 6 Mile Wayfarer house. So, all these rumors were going around and there wasn't any solid proof. So, the police couldn't do anything, but we all know that mobs were totally a thing back then.
Oh, yeah.
So, the law enforcement couldn't do anything, but this mob could. So, they went ahead and formed a vigilante group of Charlestonians.
Charlestonites.
There you go. Folks from Charleston joined up, and they chased the gang off. So after what they believe to have been a successful mission of chasing these highway folk off, they left a single dude behind to patrol the area just to make sure that they didn't come back.
Just the one dude?
Just the one dude.
It's a big difference from the 30 dudes we talked about last week.
Bad fucking idea, right? So, this guy, David Ross, was attacked by the highwaymen as soon as the rest of his group had left the area.
Well,
He
of course.
went to the good old 6 Mile for help, but Lavinia was not in a helping mood. She attacked this man by choking him.
With her thighs?
No, just with her hands. I know, right? I wanted it to be the thighs real bad. Anyway, she choked him, and she smacked him around a little bit, and then she smashed his head through a window, because, like you do. Anyway, so somehow he didn't die from that, and he escaped and ran to town for assistance. So, shortly after Ross escaped, a gentleman named John Peoples came into the inn looking for a room for the night. Because they were an inn, and that's what they did.
Well,
so good old Lavinia said there wasn't any room available, but you know what, honey? Why don't you come into my parlor?
I was just about to say, but you can have a nap right here, and she pointed to her crotch. We have no room available, but there's plenty right here.
You'll sleep real good
You can
tonight.
get all your baggage in here.
Gross. Anyway, he's just like, why don't you rest a while and have a nice cup of tea in the parlor? But
You didn't tell me there were voices coming.
Guess what? He didn't like tea.
He didn't. She could have put it in whiskey or coffee.
He didn't like tea, but he was a really nice guy. So he took the tea and just hung on to it. And then when she went up to go check and take care of some inn business, he disposed of the tea in a house plant. So he just did that sitcom thing where just tossing it into the nearest house plant.
Well.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Yeah.
But by accident.
So he did not get drugged, and she thought he did. So when Miss Lavinia came back, there was miraculously a room now available for him to stay in.
Hey.
So Peoples went to the room for the night, but he was a little bit worried about the conversation that they had. So she was asking him all sorts of questions about what he did and what kind of money he made and that kind of thing. So he kind of got a little bit suspicious, thinking that, oh, maybe this bitch is going to rob me. Which, okay, if you have that thought, maybe get the fuck out of Dodge and just, like, go to the 7 Mile Wayfarer house or whatever. Like,
but don't victim blame.
Don't stay at the 6. But anyway.
Just don't victim blame here.
All right, sorry. I'm sorry. But he was smart and decided, you know what? I'm not going to sleep on the bed. I'm going to get myself in a corner. I'm going to protect my back. He slept in a corner on this little wooden chair. So he fell asleep, but he awoke to the sound of the bed collapsing into the floor, and he realized, holy fuck, these people are trying to kill me. So he jumps out the window, and he got the fuck out of there and ran directly back to Charleston.
This sounds so much like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
With the barber chair?
Yeah.
You know? It's like the same fucking thing. Was there a slide from the bed down to the basement? Now, was each bed with that? So it was the one room, right?
Just the one room.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the one room.
Because, I mean, just imagine the massive basement, like with the slide system that all feeds into this one little serial killer
getting weird
den.
now. That's
yeah,
too
I'm
much.
getting real into it. I like that idea. It's a fun design.
So the sheriff has these 2 reports now. So he has all the evidence he needs to go out and arrest these folks.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out, they arrest them, and they found a basement full of dismembered bodies.
Uh-oh. Why didn't they get rid of the bodies?
Well, I mean, I guess they buried them down there, but dismembered bodies. That's all it said. Anyway, so they were arrested and they were taken to the city jail in Charleston, and they were sentenced to hang for their crimes. Now, Lavinia wore her wedding dress to the gallows because fucking why not?
Because everybody else just wears theirs once.
Yeah.
You should wear it a second time. Get your money's worth.
Yeah. She wore her dress to the gallows because she was, quote, going to marry the devil. And her last words
She would choke him with her thighs.
Her last words were recorded as this: if you have a message you want to send to hell, give it to me. I'll carry it. And then...
Calm down, Lavinia.
She jumped the fuck off that scaffolding and hung her own damn self. Wasn't about to let someone do it to her. Just jumped off.
I mean, this is the part where you want to say, ooh, badass bitch. But then you're like, no, this fucking...
Crazy motherfucker, right?
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't,
yeah.
I don't support you. But do strangle Satan with your thighs.
Yeah.
Please.
So that was the end of the legend. And unfortunately, I'm afraid very little of that actually happened.
I completely forgot that this was the fucked up part. And
this was the legend.
Oh my God, I forgot.
You were really excited, weren't you?
I wasn't excited, but I was like, okay, we're almost done.
Because I've heard this one before, and I was really excited, and I just thought that was a great story. And then when I actually went to research it to do it, I read more, and I was like, oh, damn, it didn't. Anyway.
She didn't actually break people's necks with her thighs.
Not a thing. Anyway.
Yeah, because that's not a real thing.
So this is sort of what people think actually happened. And I'm a little drunk, so if I missed something, I'm sorry.
I'll call you out.
Google that shit yourself, babe.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you remember that vigilante group?
I mean, I guess.
That was a question, did you?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
The one dude.
It turns out that they met up at the 5 Mile house because apparently they were not good at naming shit back then.
Is there an inn every mile?
Basically, from what I could tell, there was one about every mile.
Interesting.
So the 5 Mile house, they got there and they rounded up all the highwaymen in the area and they told them to GTFO. Now,
to the wrong people.
No, to the highway. I mean, there were highwaymen up and down, just bad folk.
You're saying, but the vigilantes went to the wrong place, is what we're saying, though, right?
No, there were highwaymen up and down this area, and they were trying to clear them out from everywhere, not just 6 Mile.
Okay.
They were everywhere.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So they went.
So they just didn't make it to the 6 Mile.
They had made it up to 5 Mile. I don't know what happened at 1, 2, 3, but at 5 Mile,
what about
4.
Yeah. Wait a second. What about?
Shut up.
11, 1, 2, 3, but 5 was taken care of. Wait a second, Leah. We're missing something. No, back then, 4 was like 13. They just skipped it, even in distance. They just didn't even measure 4.
I'm sorry.
1, 2, 3, 5.
I was never good at math or
That's
counting.
not even math. That's rudimentary.
Counting?
Yeah. It's not math.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
this vigilante group met up at the 5 Mile House. And they rounded up all these highwaymen and they told them to get the fuck out of there. Now, they did not comply because they were highwaymen.
Mm-hmm.
And the mob beat the shit out of them and they burned everything to the ground.
Like the motel? The inn?
The house, or like the inn, the outbuildings, the stables, fucking everything. Burned it to the ground.
That's a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah,
guys.
right? Because
Calm
these
down.
vigilante mobs are a thing. Anyway, so they had taken care of 5 Mile, so we're going to the next one. We're on to 6 Mile. So they made it down the road to 6 Mile House, and they did the exact same thing. They said...
The vigilantes?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said, look, y'all, you need to get the fuck out. But instead of, like, beating them up and all that shit, everybody at 6 Mile was like, all right, vigilante motherfuckers, we're out of here. So everybody left. Except for David Ross, who was left behind to keep an eye on the place.
Uh-huh.
Sort of seeing where these stories link up.
Right, and David Ross was one of the vigilantes.
Yes.
He wasn't one of the bad guys.
No.
I remember that.
He was the vigilante. So David Ross was left behind to keep an eye on the place, and the rest of the mob rode back to Charleston, just like they did in the legend. Because I guess 7 Mile wasn't a problem.
Well, there might not have been anything past 6.
Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway.
For a minute, I didn't think there was anything before 6.
All right, but the 6
There's
Mile
not a
folk,
4.
the 6 Mile folk, including the Fishers, all came back to find that Ross was still there, and he was alone. Now, okay, look. These vigilante motherfuckers had ridden into town, kicked you out of your own damn property.
Mm-hmm.
They have already burned down your neighbor's house. I mean, bad news for David Ross, am I right? They beat the piss out of that man.
I mean, it's definitely bad news.
And indeed, Lavinia choked him, put his head through a pane of glass, and she chased him off, screaming, "You damned infernal rascal, if I ever catch you, I will give you 100 lashes." And that is legitimately in the deposition that they took at the time. Like, all of these records are still there. You can read that shit. It's kind of funny.
So Lavinia was part of the highwaymen, of the highway people.
Yes, and
She was part
maybe
of the bandit group.
how tied they were is very debatable.
But she wasn't okay with somebody cleaning up the area.
Well,
is the
she
point.
wasn't okay with someone with a vigilante, not a police group at all. Vigilante justice seekers from Charleston coming through and kicking her out of her own property.
What? Okay. I just realized something. So the vigilantes were cleaning house of everything because everybody at every mile stop was part of the highway, the robbery ring.
But
Robbery
they
and killing
didn't, I
ring.
mean, like I said, there was no evidence to prove that they were involved in that either. So it was
Like
just
any
some
of these people.
asshole. Yeah, it was just some asshole coming in and being like, "Oh, you're highwaymen, fuck off." It was a problem. Anyway.
All right, this is changing my perception.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So he ran off for the popo like he does in the legend, right?
Right.
So this is where Mr. Peoples comes in. So
Hey, Mr. Peoples.
in walks in Mr. John Peoples, and he clippity cloppity clip clop clop.
Did he have hooves?
He had a horse.
Oh, but okay. I didn't realize there was a horse.
There was a horse.
All right.
He clippity clops up to that 6 Mile house, and he sees an errand boy. And he tells this errand boy to fetch him a bucket to water his horse with. And the boy was like, "No." And Peoples was like, "You fucking better get me a bucket." He swore at this kid. And apparently that was the last straw, because at that point, like 9 or 10 people came out and attacked this motherfucker and threatened to kill him. They searched his pockets. He stole about $35 off of him, which was a lot.
That's a lot of money in 1793.
Money at that point. And they sent him on his way.
It's like $6 million.
So he went, obviously, right back to Charleston to the police to tell him, I just wanted a bucket, y'all. So, I mean, it was not great of them to, like, beat this guy up. But, I mean, after all that shit that they had already dealt with, these assholes coming in and, yeah. Probably not great of them to steal his money and, like, beat him to death. But it wasn't skull-crushing. So, I mean...
Arguable.
It wasn't. Mm-hmm. Not exactly the skull-crushing, femme fatale, thigh thing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was false from the beginning.
Yeah. So the 10 or so people that carried on this attack from the Wayfarer house were arrested. And the inn was burned to the ground. Again? Why? Why do these people have to burn perfectly good inns?
Because they're not complying.
Apparently not, but anyway. So there were no bodies, no trapdoor, nobody was ever charged with murder, period. So the Fishers were charged, however, with the assault and attempted murder of David Ross, which they did plead not guilty to, and they were sent to jail. So during the time that they were waiting in jail for their trial and sentencing and all of that, the charges changed from attempted murder to highway robbery. And that highway robbery is a death sentence charge at that point in time. So they were both convicted and they were sentenced to hang. Now, the townsfolk didn't think they were guilty, and they gained quite a few supporters because they just didn't think that it was a hanging offense. They didn't think they were involved, and they also were very uncomfortable with the fact that that the governor would allow a white woman to be hanged. That's just,
okay. Calm down.
Well, I mean that's just the truth.
Yeah, I mean I get it.
Woman
no,
being
I'm not saying you calm
thing.
down. I'm talking about the people.
Yeah, but a woman being hanged was almost unheard of, and the fact that it was a white woman being hanged was even worse.
Because they do no wrong. They're dainty.
Well, I mean, dainty and delicate like we are, right?
Yeah, and they're homemakers.
That's what I'm saying.
You
like,
know?
it was a very unseemly kind of thing to have a governor that would allow a white woman to be hanged. You know what I mean? Like, it was a big deal. But the judge refused a retrial. He said the sentence stands. And so, when it was their time to go, they put on white outfits. Not the wedding dress. They put on white garments, and they were walked to the scaffolding hand in hand. And Aww. John, I know, it makes my heart hurt. Anyway, yeah. John walked up the steps and, to the scaffolding, and they put the noose around his neck, and with his last words, he apologized to anyone he had ever offended in life, and he swore that his wife was innocent and to please don't kill her. Yeah. Well, she, on the other hand, refused to fucking budge. She had to be physically carried up the steps where she screamed her last words, and her last words are actually recorded as this. Cease. I will have none of it. Save your words for others that want them. But if you have a message you want to send to hell, give it to me. I'll carry it.
Yeah, so...
That was her actual words. So
she was going to hell and going to strangle the devil with her thighs.
Fucking badass, right?
Well, depending on...
You're right.
A lot of other factors.
Anyway, so they were buried in a nearby potter's field, and the restless spirit of Lavinia Fisher still haunts the old city jail in Charleston to this day. And you can take a ghost tour if you want to, and they will tell you that awesome first story, most likely.
Yeah, but not the real
Probably
one.
not the second one.
What does the ghost do?
She just wanders around the jail, hanging out, being
Well, does she bother
off.
someone? Does she throw anything?
No, it's more of just one of those, like, ghostly lady apparitions, lady in white kind of thing. Just, she's
Does
not
everyone see her, or certain people
or
say they see her?
anything. It's just something that people see on occasion, and I believe there's a church that she's also seen around sometime, but I don't really remember the rest of that story.
That bitch needs to find a home. Am I right?
But I mean, generally speaking, the place that she haunts that is most famous is the Old City Jail in Charleston. And the jail is beautiful if you want to look at it. It's a
Beautiful
really pretty
jail, huh?
I mean, it's really pretty. If you've never been to Charleston, Charleston is lovely. And they've got little, like, horse-drawn carriage rides through the historic part of... Well, I mean, it's all historic. But, you know, the little downtown touristy area.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a beautiful downtown market. And I've been to Charleston one time, and I would love to go back. It is beautiful.
We can go.
There.
We should go. Probably.
It's a long-ass way away, but...
We can live stream from the jail. We can seance with Lavinia.
I don't know about that.
Why? You think she'll try to choke me with her thighs?
Well, no, she just knows the devil.
She just knows him. Well, it doesn't sound like she ever made it to hell. It sounds like she's still around.
You're right. Anyway, so that was Lavinia Fisher, the first serial killer that may or may not have actually killed anybody?
I don't know. It sounds like she was... I wouldn't trust her. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was Lavinia Fisher, the badass bitch with the real thick thighs.
Gross. Ugh.
You didn't like that one?
Not
Because it's
the
one of my
thighs.
favorite stories.
No, I like the story. I don't like that there are two stories. And
Oh,
that
I
one of
forgot
them's
about that.
definitely false.
Ah,
Forgot about what?
I just took a real big drink of that.
Oh, yeah. You have the apple pie moonshine just on ice. You should
Yeah.
have thought that through.
I should have put more ice in it because I refilled the cup and there was no more ice left in it. And that's just straight up.
That's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. It's fine. It's just very cinnamony.
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 I don't know that I can say that right now.
Well, did you have any other closing thoughts about our lovely stories tonight, or do you want to go straight into a toast?
I think we should just go to the toast because I don't remember the stories already. Yeah, that blueberry's a problem.
I'm sorry.
I did. Ugh.
All right. Are you ready for the toast?
Yeah.
All right. Raise your goblets high. If you don't have a goblet, solo cups work too.
Raise your moonshine jars.
All right, here's the toast. Tonight we're toasting Mr. Greenhaw and Lavinia Fisher. Ready? Too bad for Mr. Greenhaw. This ain't Pascagoula. Got fired and dumped, not a big pile of moolah. Lavinia's thick thighs crushed her clientele. Raise a glass for Mrs. Fisher. She'll see y'all in hell.
Fuck that bitch. It's her. No.
Oh, it's cinnamon again. Damn. Nah.
You took you a big old swig, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, man.
But I can breathe through my nose now, though, so that's nice.
Oh, that's good.
Opening up those sinus passages.
Leah has really bad allergies.
I do.
And we have, she's mostly allergic to dogs, cats, and pecan trees. And we have 2 dogs, a cat, and live around 5 giant pecan trees.
Yep.
So most of the time she has no sense of smell and can't really breathe. So we're going to keep some of this Midnight Moon apple pie on hand and give her a little sip of it every once in a while when she needs it.
It'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like allergy medicine.
But it's the best kind of allergy medicine.
Woo!
It's right there. We can give you some blueberry too.
That'll just
shock you
cause
right to
the
life.
Other problem. Full body hives and a swelling tongue.
Yeah, that'd be... I mean, that could be fun, though. It doesn't have to be so bad.
It's not great, I promise. If you've never seen my face swell up like a balloon.
I haven't, but we should put it on the social medias.
That is a no-go, sir.
I'll tell y'all where y'all can find those right now. Thank you for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. Please like us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram at Southern Spirits Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. If you have any personal stories or alcohols you'd like to send us, Send us an email at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Please rate and review us on iTunes. We need some more of those. We got to reach some more people.
And send me a dadgum postcard, y'all.
Please do. We'll give the P.O. Box again another time. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.